I'm Jasmine Harris, and this is my Draw My Life. It all started on the day I was born, on October 15th, 2001, at Shaw's Air Force Base in South Carolina. Then we moved to Florida, and we lived in Florida, and I'm gonna have to admit, I was pretty spoiled. At this time, I was an only child, and I had whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted, and, it was pretty cool, you know? And we had little alligators in our backyard that I had named. It was pretty cool. Then life wasn't so good. My mom and dad were separated by 2002, and by 2003 they were already divorced. But I was only one, so it's not like I'm gonna know what's going on. So life was still pretty good for me at the time. Then we moved to Indiana after my mom and dad got back together in early 2004. And then my mom and my dad had my brother on October 28th, 2004. He's been in Indiana all his life. Then we lived in an apartment, which wasn't in such a good place in Indiana, but we were together. So we were all happy. So my mom and dad agreed whoever got the job first would be the parent who worked, and the other one would be the stay-at-home parent who stayed with the kids. So my mom got a job and my dad stayed at home. But life wasn't all it was cracked up to be. Long story short, it was just me, my brother, and my mom. My dad was out of the picture. And me and my brother were too young to understand why at the time. And my mom moved us to a bigger house. More money equaled a better place. So we moved to a better school system and a better house, and we got to see our grandma more. She did live 5 minutes away from us, and 4 really good friends: Chantel, Caden, Jordan, and Tay. And the reason his hair is like this is because I always remembered he had waves in his hair. But we're still friends with them to this day, and it's a pretty good friendship. Let's fast forward to my school life. It was all going pretty well. I had a ton of friends, and I was really happy. My life was great. And then in 8th grade, I transferred schools. I had to leave all my friends behind, and it turned out that none of my friends were real, which really sucked because it felt like they were all true friends. And I miss having anyone there for me. I cried most of that summer because I had to transfer schools. I was all alone. I had no friends. I was sad. I was lonely. And I figured out I had this thing called anxiety. And I had no clue what it was at first. But suddenly, I used to be an extrovert, and suddenly I was so scared to do anything because I was scared of failure. I was scared of people laughing at me and making fun of me. I wanted to keep to myself. I used to love hanging out with friends and laughing, and that was all my Instagram was friends and like events and all that stuff. But then I went to books and myself and YouTube, and I kind of kept to myself and kept quiet. Part of my anxiety was I was so nervous in class, I began shaking. And because I had no one to talk to, it came from that. I always felt so lonely in a crowded room or a crowded hallway. I felt like I was a failure and I was always sad. It really sucked. And life got pretty bad. It didn't help that girls were gossiping about me, and even to my best friends, and they felt they couldn't trust me. And even with guys, I was nervous just getting a compliment. Whether they said I was pretty, whether they said they loved me, or I just looked nice. I was always so nervous all the time. I felt so bad about myself. And it was pretty hard. My anxiety didn't make me feel any better about myself. Made me feel pretty bad. Now, let's get to now. I'm making new friends and trying to decide whether they truly are my friends or not, slowly but surely. I'm feeling a lot better. I have different outlets like writing. I write down my feelings and write poems and a bunch of stuff like that. I play instruments, stuff like that. I have Instagram pages where I can say stuff that I want. And I have a YouTube channel where I can talk to you guys. And hopefully this helps one of you. I don't know if any of you have gone through what I've gone through, but I know it's hard and it will get better. I know your mind can get really dark sometimes and life can get really hard sometimes, whether it's with friends or even your own family. It can get hard. And I just want to let you know that we can make it through this. And we'll all be happy in the end. As for the future, I'm not sure yet. What I'm gonna do, I don't know. I could be a model. I could be a poet. I could even be a veterinarian. As for my love interests, have I met them? I don't know. Maybe. All I do know is we'll make it through this. And we'll make it through this together. And I'll always be here. So, I'm Jasmine Harris, and this has been my Draw My Life.